Oh, but when I get there, I won't be able to afford it. I'll have to grind. Ah, that's alright. I'll do a quest and it'll pay for it. And sooner or later, I'll have it. It's fine. I'm really not ready for it. If I had a stack of leather, that might sell really well. How have you not died? What the hell? Wait. That's why. God damn it. How have you taken no damage? How is that possible? What are you talking about? You're gonna kill me here. No, no, you took no damage. You resisted like all 5 of my things. No, no, like drop. Yeah, like what was that, dude? What was that? That was just insane, man. Like you resisted like 5 or 6 abilities in a row. That was insane. Why are you full health when I've put like a lot of shots into you? Like, what's going on here? Fucking annoying. Oh, good. Next video's almost ready to go up. Okay. Tomorrow I will sing on stream. 120 for him, not bad. Yep, back up again. It's good. We're in the right place. Oh, wait, where is it that they want me to go? Oh, way over there on the east side. Oh, shit, oops. I went to the wrong place, I forgot. Oops. I thought Frostas was the one in the cave, but it's not. That's okay. Okay, so now... Well, let's actually get to the place and then... There. Fucking spawned on me.
Whenever I have so many other things to do also. but we'll see what happens. Anyway, classic WoW hardcore. Death on hardcore realms is permanent. PvP battles are opt-in. PvP battlegrounds and battle masters are disabled. Most creatures will leash when leaving the area or zone. Below level 60, all dungeons will have at least a 24-hour timer. So that means that you're going to not be able to just like spam dungeons over and over and over. New dueling feature is duel to the death. That's the Makwara. Like, I think that's really cool. And then they also end it by saying gameplay, zone disruption, and malicious player killing outside of consensual PvP will not be tolerated on hardcore realms. Well, I don't really know how they can really stop that. Like, what are they going to do? Ban people? Okay, but then the guy's character is still gone, so, I mean, you know, who really gets the last laugh there? So no PTR? Oh, no, the PTR is going to come out tomorrow. So, yeah, that's basically it. Obviously, I responded to this, and I was like, how much money is it to restore a character to the hardcore realm if it dies? And then I followed it up by saying a lot of old arcade games, had you put in a quarter to continue when you died, would be pretty cool to see something like this added to hardcore, not only for nostalgia, but also to be more friendly to casual players. The only difference is that it'd be more than a quarter because of inflation, of course. And this really, this really got him going. Oh man, how do I do this? I don't know. Why you saw to see the world burn like that? I just think this shit is funny. It was a masturbate. I thought it really was a masturbate. But everybody's getting pissed off about this fucking shit. Maybe just add honing while we're at it. It'd just be a WoW token. Wow. What's this, Blizzard right now? Yep, there you fucking go. WoW Classic Hardcore. You have to buy tokens to use that to continue. Yeah, I think so too. There's Bobby right there. Rare but huge L idea. Stop giving them ideas. Considering the amount of clickers I've seen in clips in hardcore, they're gonna want this. Yep, can't see if this is a chaotic neutral behavior or just chaotic. It'll be one WoW token. Yeah, I think that actually makes a lot more sense. So I was laying in bed reading some of these earlier today. It was pretty funny to see that happen. And I did see the dev interviews. I'm going to watch them in just a few minutes. But anyway, yeah, hardcore WoW realms are coming out. It's kind of a pretty big deal. I don't really know what's going to happen in terms of... oh, here we go. Let's go ahead and just look at a few little things here. Okay, I just want to make sure I knew how long this was. Okay, it's official. Hardcore realms are coming to World of Warcraft. Players, I mean, like TTS, you guys get it. Hardcore realms death is permanent. So this means even if you have abilities as part of your class, such as Shaman, Reincarnation, Warlock, Soulstone, they will not be any use to you. I've also heard that, I think Bubble Hearthing is getting, yeah, Paladins will not be able to use their Hearthstone while under the effects of Blessing of Protection, Divine Protection, or Divine Shield on hardcore realms. So, let's see. Being able to Bubble Hearth is fairly iconic. Oh, it absolutely is. It's not really a big deal. I see why they did this. Absolutely. And, yeah, I mean, of course they had to get rid of Bubble Hearthing. I mean, it would be OP, man. It would be way too OP. What could they possibly... Who would ever play anything besides a Paladin? You'll continue to exist in the Ghost World, game world as a ghost to facilitate communication with in-game friends and resolve logistical matters, such as handing over guild leadership if you are a guild master who has died an unfortunate death at the hands of a Defias bandit or some other deadly creature. I think this is a typo by Blizzard. I think what they mean to say is Defias pillager, but yes, definitely. And so, obviously, you can move your character. This is really nice that Blizzard did this. I wish they would do this with Diablo, is if your character dies in WoW, in Hardcore WoW, you can move it to a non-Hardcore era realm. I wish they just made it to where, like, if you're playing Hardcore WoW or Hardcore Diablo, and you die, your character gets ported over to a normal server.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why you have to lose your character forever, like Standard. Yeah. Well, it's not even... it doesn't get ported to Standard. It just gets ported to the League. I think it does, right? Like, if you die in Hardcore League, you go to the normal League server, the normal League servers. Yeah, right. Yeah, just like PoE. Basically, just do the exact same thing that PoE does. I mean, Blizzard already took a lot of their ideas anyway. Keep it up. Players will no longer be automatically flagged for PvP upon attacking another player. To flag yourself for PvP, you must type the command /PvP. You won't be able to take hostile actions against flagged enemy players unless you flag yourself deliberately. Obviously, this is a good thing. There was a lot of trolling that happened with this, and people would like try to name themselves important NPCs and try to like bait somebody to attack them. This is obviously a good thing that Blizzard is doing with like making PvP harder to accidentally engage in. It'll also reduce the likelihood of someone will be tricked into flagging unintentionally. It's important to note that attacking an enemy faction NPC will still flag you, even if you haven't typed /PvP, so steer clear of settlements and opposing factions. I also hope that... Remember that one quest that Mitch did for the diplomat, the fucking missing diplomat quest that flagged him for PvP? I hope they get rid of that kind of stuff. So... I'm not really sure, like, if that's gonna happen, but, like, all of those that they do address it, okay, good. Yeah, I didn't even see that. PvP and Questa, okay. Alright, there it is. It's literally right there. So, apparently somebody at Blizzard watches Mitch Jones. Various quests and objectives that cause players to become PvP flagged, such as the quest The Attack and The Missing Diplomat, will no longer cause players to be flagged for PvP. These quests are never strictly meant to flag you for PvP, but this was a result of how the creatures were set up at the time, and likely the result of an early technological limitation. I think that's very funny because there are some people arguing about this, that like it was intended. It's like everybody knows this wasn't intended. I mean, fuck. Like, I remember somebody brought up to Kevin Jordan, one of the original WoW designers. He's like, so, why were some of the world buffs dispellable and other ones weren't? He's like, what? Huh? You sure about that? Yeah, it's like they didn't even know that. So I think that makes sense. And these quests are never meant to flag you for PvP and to prevent the unintended consequences of gotchas after accepting an innocuous-looking quest. We've decided these quests will no longer flag you for PvP combat. This is obviously a good thing. Many quests that require escorting NPC targets have been adjusted in a way that most escort-related NPCs may no longer be attacked by players of the opposing faction. I think that's obviously a good thing, too. You don't want to have people just, like, sitting there killing the Defias... the Defias messenger over and over and over. It seems kind of stupid. So, yeah. And Bubblehearth is too OP, so we nerf Barb. Yeah, true. What about that Gadget Tank quest that kills you? Well, they're probably just getting rid of all of that. Many quest-related NPCs, particularly at low level, are very easily killed. There's very little counterplay to a higher level player of the opposing faction running up, killing your escort NPC, and then running away. This is a vector for gameplay disruption, and we don't feel like this has a place in the game. We don't add anything meaningful to the combat. This is obviously true. It's super cringe, really annoying, and there's no counterplay to it because you can just kill the mob in one hit. So yeah, obviously this is a good idea. As much as we enjoyed the frequent visits from Teramis the Devourer in Stormwind, look at that, or wandering Devilsaurs and Thousand Needles, being able to drag or kite high-level monsters to normal-level areas is a vector of gameplay disruption and something that doesn't have a place in WoW Classic Hardcore. The total range of monsters can be pulled is fairly large, but that can easily be adjusted. Okay, of course that's the case. The goal is to prevent high-level players from kiting dangerous monsters across entire zones. But we don't want to interfere with legitimate gameplay, such as hunters kiting elite monsters to solve difficult quests, and similar expressions of skill. Dungeons around the clock. So basically, there's a cooldown to being able to do each dungeon. One of the important aspects of WoW Classic Hardcore Realms is engaging in adventures in the outside world with other players. Creating random and serendipitous interactions is a core aspect of the original World of Warcraft. Spending most of your leveling time in dungeons is counter to the spirit of what hardcore is about. We do recognize that there may be a desire to run a dungeon while leveling multiple times, such as be able to finish a quest or get an important piece of loot. As a result, we've added a 24-hour timer to almost all dungeons for players until they hit level 60. So I think this is obviously a good idea. We carried over the group experience restrictions from Season of Mastery, meaning that players that are significantly higher level than the creatures in a given dungeon will cause those creatures to gain trivial experience for the group. So basically, there's no dungeon power leveling. That's very good. To debuff or debuff, the 16 debuff limit and 13 buff limits have been removed on hardcore realms. Thank God. This was always fucking stupid. And I remember people would lose their world buffs because they would get spam buffed by like druids and like other people intentionally trying to troll them to make them lose their world buffs. So Affliction Lock is winning in a big way. A technological limitation, yeah. So it actually, so I find this to be very interesting and kind of obvious, but only for, I remember like Alex Sensual got really mad at me for saying this back whenever the game came out, Classic WoW was coming out, that I didn't think they should have had 8 debuffs because it clearly wasn't a gameplay decision, it was just a limitation. And it's good to see Blizzard actually confirm this. The debuff and buff limits were originally a technological limitation of the earliest versions for Warcraft and was not a conscious design choice at the time. So there we go. It was never intended, it was just a limitation. So yeah, there you go. What if you complete WoW, hardcore challenge, you get a WoW token? Bad idea. I don't know. Let's see here. Bubble Hearth no more. You can't Bubble Hearth. I mean, do I really need to say anything more than that? So, you get a buff, apparently, whenever you kill people in a map Gorok. Because basically what happens is that you can duel people to the death in Classic WoW Hardcore, and if you win, you get the ears from those players. Now, there's also a few like restrictions on that, like you have to be level 10, and the opponent level can't be too far apart. Like, yeah. But I think this is really cool. I like it a lot. And it's badass. Yeah, just a little bit of flavor. Makes the game more interesting. It's good to see Blizzard coming out with ideas like this. All content phases available from the go. Holy shit, I didn't even realize this. Everybody, so like everything just gets unlocked. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Great. Did they say when it's coming? Not a new idea. I don't think it is, but I think this is probably a better idea. I wonder if they're gonna have the gates of AQ open. I'm assuming probably not. I mean, I guess the gates of AQ will be open. Yeah, of course, right? Because the raid's gonna be open. What am I thinking? Yeah, duh. And so, okay, that's good. Play nice, play fair. Oh, here we go. So this is for anti-grief measures. Gameplay disruption, malicious player killing outside of consensual PvP will not be tolerated in hardcore realms. By this, we mean deliberate action to hamper or significantly impede the ability of other players to enjoy the game, such as, but not limited to, repeatedly killing quest NPCs or kiting important quest mobs far away from their spawn location to prevent them from being killed. Most importantly, this includes taking actions to deliberately cause the death of another player, such as, but not limited to, kiting higher level or elite mods onto the nearby players with the intent that they take damage and die, or deliberately causing a wipe in a raid or a dungeon group. This is not a PvP realm, and the normal PvP rules do not in any way apply to this realm. Outside of a normal duel to the death, consensual PvP flagging, or war games, killing other players isn't the core goal of hardcore gameplay. If players are found to make it their goal to take part in this type of disruptive style of play, we reserve the right to take immediate and decisive action against anyone found to be deliberately causing this disruption to other players on these realms, including permanent account closure. Wow. Good. You skip the Battlegrounds part? Yeah, I mean, who gives a shit? But trolling equals ban? Yeah. I mean, that's what... The thing is, I'm so glad that Blizzard is finally treating their players like adults. Because, like, you have these people that are obviously sometimes acting with, like, the worst intentions, and they're like, oh, what do you know? I just wanted to kite the mob around. I mean, what, I can't use my buttons? Everybody knows what you're doing. Yeah, they're not pussyfooting with people anymore? Yeah, thank God. It was so annoying. It was so, like, intellectually dishonest and obnoxious. So, yeah. Let's see here, on the flip side to this, report bombing or intentionally using a rule set against players to attempt to get their account action will also be met with harsh penalties. Deaths can and will happen in normal gameplay, and retaliation or resorting to bullying, abuse, or malicious reporting for normal gameplay deaths are not appropriate. For example, if you're in a dungeon group and the tank ends up taking too much damage and dies despite the efforts of the healer in the group, it is not appropriate for someone to report the healer. While that death is unfortunate, it is legitimate gameplay. I think that it's just so hard to know like where this line is, you know, because like if you didn't like a tank, you could just not cast a heal for 5 seconds, right? And then cast a really long heal or heal the wrong person. Like it would be impossible for you to know outside of like mega examples of like, you know, pulling a boss and then like leaving the group or something like that. It would be very hard to find like really good examples of, or like, you know, like the gray area of like, was somebody doing this on purpose or not? I bet it's like impossible to figure that out. But, you know, I think that in general, it's mainly open world stuff, and a lot of the people that are bad actors, it's pretty obvious. So yeah. That's the only time I'm taking dungeon with my warriors and taking my healer friend. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Ultimately, it's critical to the health of these realms that players play nice and fair with one another, and we will take hostile or abusive actions that occur between players very seriously. Upon character creation, you will be prompted to agree to both the hazards of hardcore realms as well as the rules around behavior. So now you have to sign 2 social contracts, gentlemen. That's right. And the hardcore PTR is going to start tomorrow. So that's about it. Repeat reports, right? They're getting repeat reports. I don't know. It's like there's probably like 50 different, you know, like verticals that they can base it off of. So yeah, this seems really good. This seems great. I don't know really what else to say, but yeah, this seems awesome. What do you guys think? Nothing on death announcements in game? Yeah, but that's because. So like, if you were doing a death announcement, like if I was a gold farmer, I would do a bot, and I would have the bot programmed to get to level 10 by like killing like level 3s, or like whatever the lowest level is, and then I would kill the characters over and over and over, so I could do a global advertisement. Go to SusanExpress.com to buy gold. So yeah, like I think it makes sense that they're not able to do death announcements. And they're in guild. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Set min level for death announcement? Well, then you still have people that could do an announcement, and like this person said like something really bad. It gets announced to everybody, and then Blizzard looks bad. So it's just better. What about Petri Flask? They're probably not going to do anything about it. The truth is that Diablo 4 also has death saves. So, I mean, the truth is that like hardcore WoW is like a very complex game, and even with Petri Flask, you can sometimes die, right? Like what happened to that Thunder Fury warrior in Nex. So I don't think that they need to remove petrification flasks. Like I really don't think so. I don't think it's a big deal, and I think that the people that will actually affect, it's like what percentage of people are actually going to make it to 60? Basically 0. Petri Flask cost a lot too. Yeah, and like there is a cost to making that. They said they talked about it. Let me see what this says here. Blizzard will not be making any changes to Flask of Petrification or dropping group and being teleported out of a dungeon environment. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. Yeah. Okay. I don't think Petri Flasks are a big deal. Fuck. Like, am I crazy? I really just don't think so. If they remove Petri Flask, people just go for the next useful thing, aka infinite mana on progress? Maybe. Yeah. And remove Vanish too? Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a million other things that people have. And also, like, Petri Flask is everybody has access to Petrification Flask. And in a way, it is kind of it's an equalizer at max level, because, like, Hunters have Feign Death, Rogues have Vanish, and, you know, like, Paladins have Bubble. They can't bubble hard, but they might be able to use Bubble to get out of a certain situation, and then hard after the bubble is over. But what does a Warrior have? What do you think hardcore would ever work for retail? No. I'm afraid people will just instantly group whenever shit goes down in a dungeon.
I would.
Yeah?
I would love
So what? It's
hardcore
fine.
retail.
I feel like
I'd be very happy
like,
with it.
Who cares?
That'd be in my game. Oh.
Like, dude, if you're the kind of person that's like leaving group all the time and like doing this kind of bullshit, you're never gonna make it to 60 anyway, because you're garbage. Who gives a fuck? If somebody like that has to do this stuff in order to just survive, they're gonna be dead so fast. Who cares? Yeah, it's not a big deal. Why gatekeep hardcore to classic? What's the point? I really don't understand. Because classic hardcore only works because classic WoW is a joke game. It's a really easy game, and there's nothing in the game that's challenging.
Yeah.
That's why it works. Thoughts on the fact they're not restricting trading in the auction house? Well, I don't really see why they would. The reason why trading in the auction house was restricted and grouping 2 is restricted in the hardcore add-on was not really, like, the biggest reason, at least, is so people didn't group with somebody and then have that person who wasn't hardcore, who had, like, max gear, boost them. So, like, yeah, it's softcore trading with hardcore. But if hardcore is only trading with hardcore, then who gives a fuck? Yeah, you're gonna have botting. Here's a hot take. I'd rather have trading and botting than nothing. Sorry, that's what I think. Yeah, I mean, it's a social game. It's an MMO. However, this comes with one omega caveat. There should be an Iron Man mode, and the Iron Man mode will be no grouping, no trading, nothing. Until 60 at least, right? And that could be like a separate achievement. So I do think that there should be something like that, but I don't think that should be the meta. Yeah, one-man army. Yeah, I like that. That sounds really cool. Do you think they should add achievements? I don't know, maybe. That could be cool if they did that.
I wish they would.
Yeah, maybe like maybe not even an achievement tab, but just a few achievements that like give you titles or something like that. I'm trading in the auction also has super buff Twinks leveling, which is pretty cheese. So this is a big problem that like Blizzard has, and the reason why Blizzard has this is because Blizzard has an audience of players that would rather the game be fair than the game be fun. Being able to trade gear with other people and buy and sell things is more fun than not being able to do that. I don't really care if somebody wants to twink out a character and level it in hardcore. You've got people like Mitch that are having other people level as characters. You've got other people that are cheating on the add-on anyway. You've got people doing a million other fucking things, but you're gonna worry about somebody twinking out on hardcore so it's a little bit harder for them to level? God damn, man. And again, I think that all of these concerns are immediately fucking solved if you just make it to where there is a solo self-found Iron Man mode. No grouping, no trading, no auction house, no mailbox, nothing. Just add that mode in, and then anybody who wants to play like that can play like that. But don't make everybody else do that shit, because it sucks. At least have the option? Yeah. Hardcore's a personal challenge? I don't really think so. I think that obviously, like, it's a, it's, people care about being able to show off, okay? Like, that's what really matters. If you don't want to do it, you shouldn't have to, for sure. Exactly. It's not like it's a feature that's only available for a select few. Yeah, and I also want to say, takes away from the challenge. Well, so does playing a hunter. Like, there are things that are going to, and also, like, doing certain quests take away from the challenge, or add to the challenge. Like, it's just, there's a million things that take away from the challenge, but is it worth making the game worse as a whole in order to make everybody play the exact same way? I don't think so, man. I really don't think so at all. So, that's basically how I feel. Let's see here, and we'll watch one interview here. This is an interview from Sarth, and and we're gonna see what happens and what Blizzard's got to say. This is the guy actually who announced. It was on his stream after the Classic WoW Hardcore event that they announced hardcore servers were going to happen. So give me 1 second. I'm going to mute the music and we're going to listen to this. Here we go. Were you playing hardcore yourself? Maybe a little bit, but so like before I get into it, I'll talk about this just for a second. I don't like. I have so many other things that I need to do. I don't know if I can justify streaming Classic WoW Hardcore all the time. Like, I will probably do it at the beginning for content, but like playing this consistently, it's just not worth it. Because like I have a million other games that I want to play, I have other things I want to talk about, other things I want to do. Like if I was only a WoW streamer, of course I would do this, but I'm not. Used to be though, I did used to be a streamer. Like I used to only stream WoW, and it was actually very stressful. Streaming WoW all the time was quite stressful and like very draining mentally because yeah, it was very, very not good. Here we go. Let's take a look at this.
The official Hardcore Realms have just been announced on the PTR. They will be coming tomorrow. But before that, I want to break down what we should be able to experience and what Blizzard's philosophy was looking like moving forward into the Hardcore Realms. Luckily, today we'll be joined by two of Blizzard's very own developers. Anna Resendez, the lead software engineer, and Tim Jones, the senior technical designer. Both of whom had a massive role in us actually being able to experience Hardcore on a Blizzard official capacity. So today they're here to answer as many questions as they can regarding the Hardcore Realms and what we have to see in the future. We're going to get into things like dungeon lockouts. Can we bubble hearth? Can we use Flask of Petrification? And will there be world buffs? Everything you can think of should be answered here today. Thank you guys for being here, and let's get right to it.
I'm Anna Resendez. I am lead software engineer for the World of Warcraft Classic team, and I'm super excited to talk today about Hardcore Classic.
I'm Tim Jones. I'm the senior technical designer on the World of Warcraft Classic team, and I'm also excited to talk to you guys about Hardcore.
I love that we can finally see the official logo for Hardcore.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time.
There it is.
That
Reveal.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I'm so stoked. Thank you guys for joining me today. My name is Sarth. As anyone watching this probably knows, I am a enjoyer of WoW Classic, so I'm really excited to get to talk to you guys. Tim, it's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Talking about Old War, yeah. So I'm really excited, and really nice to meet you. Thanks for being here today. Let's get into it. The hardcore community, as you guys know, has been really adamant about the whole solo self-found thing. It's been a community-driven thing, and I know Blizzard isn't usually of the mindset to add restrictions to the way people play the game. Is there anything that you guys are planning to implement for solo self-found, maybe something like a Soul of Iron, like a buff on a personal character that doesn't end up doing as many, like, trading? I guess we haven't even asked if there's going to be trading, and you haven't officially said if there's going to be trading or auction house or anything like that.
Yeah, well,
I'm glad he starts off with this question.
the main plan for Hardcore is, like very simple. You have one life, but then if you die, however you die, that's done, right? There's not gonna be. We're gonna block the restrictions to resurrect, use Ankh,
That makes sense.
or any other kind of weird items that could get you back to life. All of that is gonna be restricted. So that's basically the base.
Okay.
That said, we're not gonna be restricting trading or mail or anything of those. We believe that, a big part of why it is very different in the era servers that currently have the version of the add-on is that not everyone there is actually in the challenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the reason why the restriction was there to begin with was because softcore to prevent softcore from trading with hardcore. That's the main reason.
There's some people that have had that started since the beginning of Classic 2019, and they still have their characters there, and they're just coming back maybe.
Yeah,
just
they have
to raid
max
or
gear.
to do other activities, but they didn't participate in the hardcore challenge. And there's also the people that came from Season of Mastery that might also be in this server. So it kind of creates kind of an unfair trading ecosystem with already a established gold and economy and everything. So we understand why a lot of the restrictions are there, right? That said, we're really looking forward to see how that happens in our servers, in the official servers, where everybody that is in those servers are participating in the challenge. So we don't want to go out with like any kind of extra restrictions. That said, players choose to, you know, go by the rules the specific rules that they want to go into that are added. They're more than welcome to do that, but we're not gonna have any restrictions. And we currently don't have any plans of like what you're saying, of like maybe we can have an extra note of like, hey, you did this in the extra mega hard mode, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, we're listening and we are always welcome for feedback, and like we can like see how the PTR goes and like have like more discussions, right?
Honestly, I feel like
I can teach you fishing
Classic
skills.
WoW, the reason why these servers exist is
May the
a
stars guide you.
response to emergent player behavior. It's because the players created this mode of gameplay, and Blizzard wants to capitalize on it and legitimize it and make it a real thing for those people. I think that the fact that this exists shows that Blizzard, the reason why they're doing this is to accommodate
skill has
players
increased.
and do what they want to do, right? Do what players want them to do. I think that there is a lot of players out there who would like to have a solo self-found hardcore mode of WoW Classic, like hardcore. And I think that, like, what's the problem with adding that? Like, why is it not possible to have, like, a check mark or something like that whenever you make your character to make it solo self-found, Iron Man or some style like that, that you can't trade and you can't group? And, like, maybe there's a couple of other restrictions. Why is this not possible? Because I do think that the majority of hardcore players would probably want to be able to trade, especially whenever Blizzard makes official servers, which will increase the amount of people that will be interested in this idea in general. So I do think that, like, having trading on by default is a good idea, but I absolutely think that there should be a separate structure to reward
I can
players
teach you
for
fishing
going
skills.
through the game without trading, especially up to level 60. Like, at level 60, I feel like all bets are off. Who cares what people do? But yeah. And, like, would delay hardcores if you add too many new features. I think this is a really important feature, though. I genuinely think this is a very important feature. It should absolutely be in the game. Like, I'll be real, this should be in the game a lot more than their duel to the death mechanic should be in the game. Like, how many people are going to be doing duels to the death? Like, nobody. But, like, the solo self-found thing is way more important than that. Like, if you're going to add any feature into the game, besides, like, obviously anti-griefing stuff, you're going to have solo self-found be number one. So yeah, I absolutely think that they should do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add something, Tim.
Oh, I think you mentioned, like, would we be incorporating, like, maybe a Soul of Iron style mechanic in hardcore? And the plan is to incorporate the Soul of Iron as it was in Season of Mastery into hardcore. It's largely just a cosmetic.
Somebody says solo self-found is a self-imposed challenge. If someone wants to do it, just do it. Yeah, but wouldn't it be better? Okay, like, you're right, but wouldn't it be better if Blizzard had a mode, and, like, let's say, like, you get to level 60 and you have Soul of Iron, and you did the solo self-found? Like, what if it was, like, you know, your character name, like, comma, Soul of Iron, or hardcore and then character name? I think that'd be really cool. Yeah, why not? Yeah, Iron Man or something like that. Yeah, I think that'd be badass. Like,
You've been
yeah, they
examined.
don't need to do this. It's not like they have to. Of course, people can do it on their own, but I just think it'd be way cooler if it was in the game. I mean, fuck.
Your skill has increased.
The reason why we're watching this video is because Blizzard responded to feedback, so I'm giving further feedback. That's it.
Tracking of whether you have died or not, which everyone will know whether you've died on an official hardcore.
Yeah.
So that point is kind of moot. but it does like have a cosmetic tracker of what end of which end raid tier boss that you've killed. And like Anna said, if the I mean the add-on already does an incredible job of tracking these accomplishments that people have while leveling, fighting super hard quest
Your skill has increased.
at relevant levels, or completing dungeons at relevant levels, or other types of challenges. If there is a desire from the community for that to be represented in sort of the same way that Soul of Iron does, then we'll listen to that feedback. And
what a great fucking answer. Perfect. Yes. Awesome. Great.
And incorporate that into
just good.
If there's a desire for it.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. I think that's really exciting, because hearing that you guys are open to the idea of if the community has a very strong
Your skill has
feedback on
increased.
something like that, I think is really exciting to see that they're like willing to work on things. On that note,
If you want it, yes.
right now, including like restrictions, we talked about not really having too many with things like the trading. There is a current within the add-on and within the community built-in restriction for one dungeon, and only being able to do that dungeon once. It kind of gives the aspect of if an item dropped on that run on that character, you get really excited. It's the blessed.
By the way, I actually am not a big fan of you can only do the dungeon once. But like what I had wanted them to do with dungeons, which it seems like they're not doing this, is I actually think that you should be able to farm dungeons for gear, but you shouldn't be able to farm dungeons for experience. And in my mind, this is my opinion, what I wanted them to do is 3x or 5x the quest experience from doing the quests, the dungeons that lead you to the dungeons, and to reduce the experience gained from killing the mobs in the dungeons.
Your skill
by
has
like
increased.
90%. So doing the dungeon the first time would reward you with effectively the same amount of experience that you would have gotten if the experience is the same as it is now. And you could also further farm that dungeon in order to get the pieces of gear, but further farming the dungeon would not be efficient in terms of experience. That's what I think they should do. They're adding a cooldown to it, which is like, I understand that, but there's a couple of quests where like, you know like that bandana quest in the stockades? Sometimes you don't get all of them the first time. So are you gonna have to wait to do it again like tomorrow, or like are you just fucked forever? I don't know. You remove experience from dungeons. I don't think you should remove experience. I think it should just be almost nothing. I think removing it feels really bad, but reducing it by 90% doesn't. Like maybe it's like a weird psychological thing. And I think also the other secondary effect of buffing the experience that you get from the quests that lead you to dungeons is that it incentivizes players to pursue the quest that leads you to dungeons. And oftentimes the quests that lead you to dungeons are quests that take you all around the world. Like for example, there's the quest in Desolus that you have to kill like those 20 Ravagers or whatever the fuck they are, those skeletons. So people are gonna go all the way over to Desolus just to do that quest, and incentivizing more open world gameplay and going around the world to collect all of these quests and do all of these different cool quest lines that lead you, the precipice of this quest line, the climax of the quest line is to a dungeon. I feel like that is peak WoW. Like that's really cool. So incentivizing those quests more and then lowering the experience that you get from the dungeons for killing them over and over, I think incentivizes dungeon farming, incentivizes people getting the quests for the dungeons. It de-incentivizes people for experience grinding inside of the dungeons, which is kind of antithetical to classic WoW. But it also gives people the option to do them once or twice more if maybe they missed a quest item, or maybe they just want to farm for a piece of gear. Because every single time that you do that dungeon, you are undertaking the same risk of losing a character. Like a lot of deaths happen in dungeons, like accidental pulls, mob runs away, etc. And I think that it's okay for you to take that risk if you want to get a better piece of gear. And that's, I don't know, like, wouldn't that enable boosting? Get carried through every dungeon for the quests only? Yeah, people could boost you, but you could still get boosted now. Like so they and that's a yes and a no question, because yes, you can get boosted now, and you will not be able to get boosted in hardcore servers in the same way. No, you can't boost, but think about it like this, right? Boosting on Season of Mastery is effectively dead, but if you run a character through a dungeon, that character still receives the loot from the dungeon, and that character still receives the quest experience from the dungeon. And I would rather add in features that incentivize people to play the game the way that it was meant to be played and create the most fun experience possible, rather than having these over restrictions added into the game to prevent somebody from maybe taking advantage of them. Like, in general, it's one of those situations where, like, a phrase for this often is that the cure is worse than the disease. So, like, you end up doing something that's actually worse than what the problem was in the beginning. So yeah, people are always going to find different ways to exploit, etc. And I would just rather have the game just be fun. Like that's really what it comes down to.
Ryan, does Blizzard have any plans on implementing any sort of dungeon restrictions or walkout restrictions for the hardcore realms?
Yes, we're gonna have the restriction of you will only be able to do one dungeon per day.
Mhm.
It's a bit different than the add-on restrictions, but it's
Yeah, I really hope they can listen to what I was saying, because I genuinely think that it's a great idea. And if they disagree and they don't want to do it my way, fine. But I do think it is a tremendous improvement over one dungeon a day. I think it's a big improvement.
It's gonna basically work like a heroic, where you can only do one
One of each
one
dungeon.
time a day.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like heroic.
And that
like she
restriction is
said.
going to be lifted by the time you get to level 16. So you are able to, go and do all the dungeons and get the gear and all the things that you want to do.
This type of restriction sort of it mostly serves the case of we really want to emphasize being out in the world and doing questing content and experiencing other players, running into other players in the outdoor world. And we don't want like dungeon cleave or spell cleave to be the primary way that people feel obligated to level up in.
Yeah.
So we really feel like that the 24-hour lockout timer on.
Yeah, like the thing that you don't want is you don't want people to go in and just like level through dungeons the whole time.
On dungeons will help facilitate that. And like we said before, if people want to impose extra restrictions on themselves, we're 100% in support of the modding community for hardcore doing that. But at this time, we don't have a plan of making it so that you can only do one dungeon for the entirety of your level up process.
I think that's stupid.
Yeah, I think that'll work out really well with people that play the game all the time are gonna out-level the dungeons no matter what, and then people that are playing very casually will be able to go back and run it again. Should be really enjoyable.
Exactly. And yeah, like Anna said, there is no such restriction for level 60 players. Level 60 players won't encourage lockout for dungeons. If you're a druid, you got a farm Nomergun, then go for it, man.
Then you have to do it. Does that mean inherently within the game systems will there be issues grouping with level 60 players? I know that's currently within the system of hardcore, but would that mean there's any sort of restrictions going on there?
No,
You're absolutely right. Players who are not level 60 will not be able to get into the same dungeons as level 60 players, so it'll prevent max level characters from boosting people through dungeons. And there will be the same sort of XP penalty system that existed in Season of Mastery and Wrath Classic, where if there's too big of a differential between the lowest level person and the high level person in a group, sub 60, then XP will be nerfed to encourage players of a similar level band to take on those challenges.
Yeah, I think that was very well received, getting rid of the boosting. So
yeah, I think that's good. Just good.
That'll be really nice. Without the restrictions then and without the boosting, we're gonna see everybody mostly level in the open world. There is a hot topic around players right now around using things like world buffs in the open world and getting world buffs. And are there any changes or plans to change world buffs and how they interact with players at all within the hardcore realm?
Please do not change world buffs. World buffs are great. I love world buffs. They're super fun. They like world buffs are what makes classic WoW classic WoW. Everybody grouping up, getting excited. Oh my god, there's gonna be an Ani head drop. Fuck yeah. I think world buffs are really fun. And then whenever you're leveling, you're like, oh man, there's gonna be a world buff going out. I want to go over to Stormwind and get the buff, and then we can go level and do this quest. Nah, man, I think that's fucking awesome.
There's no plans on changing how world buffs behave.
Yeah.
In
People say
fact,
remove it. They already tried that in Season of Mastery, and the game died. Like we already have an example of them doing that. It killed the game. So like I understand that you might think that's a bad idea to have world buffs, but they tried it. They did. They tried it. I said, okay, you said you didn't want world buffs? All right, fine. Well, let's go ahead and take them away. Okay, everybody quit. So it looks like you liked them after all.
you'll be able to get the Chrono Boon Displacer on hardcore realms. You know, I think we've learned some lessons from Season of Mastery and not having world buffs. And
Your skill has
yes,
increased.
they make your character incredibly powerful, but at the end of the day, they're one of the biggest social. They're an incredibly fun social event to gather up for, especially in hardcore.
Exactly. They're a fun social event that people want to gather up for in the game. Like, it's like, again, you have these fake fucking hardcore players. Like, oh wow, world buffs make the game too easy. Bro, you're fucking garbage at video games. You're playing hardcore classic WoW. So every class is a one-button rotation. Like, you can level to 60 being completely brain dead. We watch clips of these people that are clicking their abilities at level 60. What the fuck are we doing talking about, oh, well, we have to make it really hard? If you made it really hard, you'd have everybody quit the game like they did whenever Blizzard released Ulduar. The fuck are we talking about here? Stop it, please.
Feel that it is exciting to be able to get Rallying Cry of the Dragon
It's
Slayer.
fucking
and
awesome.
Be like,
Whenever you're like a level 12 rogue and you get Rallying Cry of the Dragon Slayer, you feel like a fucking god.
Can go do Barons. I can level up really fast now, and it's also going to be interesting on a fresh server where no one's at max level. No one's going to be dropping these buffs.
Yeah, and it makes the buffs happening even more impactful. Yeah, if you want to challenge, play a hard game.
Yeah.
Stop trying to create this like pseudo unfun difficulty in classic.
It's fun to
WoW.
me.
The fuck? Yeah,
it's fun to me.
Play retail. Retail is actually hard.
At the start, and it will be a special event towards the beginning when these buffs start dropping. So I think we want to maintain sort of how unique the social gathering is for world buffs, even in hardcore.
We are though gonna be removing the debuff limit and the buff limit.
Yeah, again, that's a very good thing. People would buff you to like troll you and shit like that. So yeah, I think that's a great thing. Big positive.
That's huge.
Did I miss it? I must have missed
So
it.
you're gonna be able to have as many buffs as your heart desires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it felt really bad in Classic having classes that just couldn't use your abilities because
It was so stupid.
didn't do enough
Yeah.
for other abilities. It would like take over deep wounds and stuff. So that's amazing. I think all like hunters and druids everywhere are gonna be really happy.
Yes.
Warlocks casting dots in a raid?
Imagine
What's happening here?
You actually get to use your abilities. That's wild.
Yeah.
That'll be very well, hopefully very, very well received. with the social aspects, like the world buffs, getting the first
Yeah.
ones is going to be one of the most exciting things on the realm.
Everybody's gonna be there.
But that the social aspect of hardcore also leads itself to griefing, and I know.
Well, also, like, by the way, I don't think you should be able to receive world buffs if you have the if you had a Iron Man, like if you had a solo self-found mode. I don't think that characters that were opted into solo self-found should be allowed to receive world buffs. Little minor thing, and like maybe they can't do it, but like if it was possible, I would say they can't receive world buffs.
How am I
A lot of
missing
people are
these?
encouraged to play the game their
Why
own
not?
way.
Because it's interaction with other players.
Because the master is
The
down.
idea of it is that you play the game without interacting with other players.
But Blizzard has been cracking down on griefing as much as possible lately.
Yeah.
So could you give us a little insight into how you plan to deal with griefing, or
37
kind of
pieces.
try to prevent it so that someone that's been leveling for like the last month doesn't just get deleted for something they couldn't avoid?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna talk about like specifically what we're gonna be.
But yeah, I think this is a huge issue because like there is gonna be a lot of gray area with griefing. And if you allow people, and this is like one of the problems and like concerns that I had with like classic WoW hardcore realms in general, like the official ones, is like, how do you,
Wow.
like, I think one of the reasons why hardcore works is because there's appeals. If there's no appeals, the reward system for like getting somebody's character killed is way higher.
For PvP,
Okay.
because PvP, you know, other players sometimes are the main culprits that might that are
Oh, absolutely.
of this kind of behavior, right?
Mhm.
So, for example, we have been looking at different situations that have arisen, like for example, people right-clicking on a flight master and then like, oh, there was a rogue there, surprise, now you're fine. So the main thing is that we want to make that PvP interactions are 100% like something that the player wanted to engage on. So the first thing is like servers are gonna be PvP only.
Yeah, baiting people into PvP and then killing them on a hardcore character. This is just cringe loser behavior that, if Blizzard allows it, is just gonna make the game full of cringe losers. Because any normal person wouldn't want to play this.
And the second part is that really the only way that we want you to get flagged for PvP is by you typing flagged PvP, right? Like we don't want any like right-clicking into stone characters or any of those behaviors. We're really going around and like looking and trying to fix all of those, so it's like something that the player actually has to go and ask for it. So I would encourage also for anyone that goes into the PTR, if you see some behavior that happened that is like, hey, I got flagged for PvP and I wasn't looking for it, let us know also, so we can also go in and add certain behaviors there. So
I think they should also make the flight masters unattackable in general. Like, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't do that. Just make them unattackable.
So that's one of the biggest ones that right now we're looking into. Kind of like PvP, it's because you want to, but we also want to encourage it for the people that are looking for that. So like I don't know if you have heard about like the Duel to the Dead, that it's coming up. That it's gonna be a very like conscious, a special kind of duel. You still can duel if you want like regular duels, but if you want to do one of these, it's gonna be with a very explicit, I'm here because I want to kill you, you know. And like something really cool is like if you get to kill to defeat an opponent, you're gonna start getting a cosmetic buff, basically saying like how many people you have killed by like maybe an ear icon, maybe giving a reference to other games, you know. So it's something that is coming up, but it's
I think the buff is a really cool idea. I like that a lot.
We want it to be something that is like very conscious. Same with battlegrounds, you know, queuing for random battlegrounds is not going to be allowed. It's going to be disabled. But if you still want to play against other players in Warzone and kind of have like a bloodbath in Warzone, go ahead, go do it. But you're going to have to do it via war games. So you're going to have to find the group and duel them basically and get into the
Yeah.
we have also had other areas where we have like trying to reduce the griefing. Like Tim can talk to you a little bit about, for example, kiting mobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So like we all have seen the video of Teramis being kited for
They watched my video! Bro, that was such a good day. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, that was such an insanely good, funny fucking day. I had such a good time doing that.
Blasted lands to unsuspecting adventurers in Elwood. And while that might be funny to watch
It was.
as an observer, it's miserable as the actual person getting killed. So creatures will sort of respect zone boundaries, and we're building a system to prevent creatures from being able to be kited outside of blasted lands if that's the creature's zone of spawning. So that will be something that we're doing. I know Anna briefly touched on...
What a video. I'm surprised people don't remember this. Asmongold brings a dragon to Stormwind, and there was 80,000 people watching the stream. Get summons out for these people. Take them all. The end is here! That kills like 5 people. Yeah. This is so into the water. Good, man. Yeah, we need more fire resist. Oh my god. Yeah, the father of griefers. Hey, that's how I know what they need to fix.
We're looking at quests one by one to see, like, was this a quest that flagged people for PvP unintentionally?
Yeah.
We're preventing that from being able to happen. Even quests where, like, escort quests in particular have been sort of targets for interference.
Mm-hmm.
And we're changing the faction templates on those creatures that are the escortee, so that they can't be pulled out of combat to screw with that person's experience doing that quest. Might ruin the fun for someone out there, but I think we're preserving the leveling experience. It's better for that person actually trying to do the quest.
It's the right decision for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned there's some quests. You mentioned quests that have been notorious to get grief, like in Westfall, the Defiance Messenger's already been fixed. But there are some quests where there's things that you can't really do, like inside of Blackrock Mountain, the quest for like getting a key or like potentially
so Sarth is talking about the quest that you talk to the ghost in order to get the Shadowforge key. So yeah, how do you do that? That's a good question.
Your elixir quest for the link quest, right?
Yeah. You can't do that one too.
Do you guys have any plans on adjusting those so they're possible to get done by players doing or playing on this realm, really?
100%. Those quests are already fixed so that they're doable on hardcore without dying. Specifically, the Vadir elixir quest for the Lincoln Ungoro line, instead of killing you when you drink it in the Gadgetzan graveyard, it'll take you to like.
I gotta go to the bathroom, guys. I'll be right back.
Give you a near-death experience, but you
for a game to have. There are a few exceptions, but in general, that's a very it's a very weird way for me to look at it, but that's actually how I see things. Because what are those shows? They're narratives and they're stories. So if the narrative and the story is compelling and exciting, then being able to replicate that yourself is what really matters. It's not about the difficulty, it's not about anything else, it's about the narrative and the experience. So yeah, that's what I think.
That might be one reason why petrification flasks are so plentiful at the highest level right now, and we're going to be actively monitoring this and obviously listening to player feedback.
Also requires block bonus, yeah.
But I think having very powerful tools, especially at the highest level when you've put so much time into your character, if you've saved up the resources and crafted a very powerful item that is relatively rare.
Yeah.
I mean, Black Lotus will still be very hard to find. Then it's okay for you to have those types of tools. That's sort of the flavor of Classic, to have these.
Exactly, like the flavor. There it is. The narrative, the flavor, the experience. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with this, oh, I want it to be super hard. You want Classic WoW to be super hard? Quit and go play Lost Ark Belshazzar Hell Mode.
Oh, come on.
Quit and go do Final Fantasy Ultimates. Quit and go do Mythic plus 30s. Quit the game. Stop ruining it with your fake difficulty.
Sort of not oddball, but like they're very unique tools and consumables that you have. So yeah, to start off, there's going to be no changes to Petrification Flask or the leave party teleport out of dungeon mechanic, but we'll monitor that situation.
Well, it appears that I'm not getting New World to load very fast. I don't really want to make you guys go through like 10 minutes of me just loading a fucking game over and over and over again. Tonight I'm going to uninstall it and reinstall it, like right as I close the stream. But I am going to close the stream here. I've been streaming for 14 and a half hours. I'm exhausted and I've got a big day tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow in the afternoon and I will be singing Pandora. Songs as it comes up. Okay, and yeah. So anyways, just a reminder, guys, you've been watching. I'm just trying to think, like, are you gonna load? I don't think you are. God damn it! I'm waiting for it, and it's like, nah. I wouldn't mind farming for another hour, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna like load even. This install or something has become corrupt. It's fucking annoying. Fucking annoying. Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna close it. Yep, you don't seem like you're fucking working. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So at this point, I'm just gonna bail. So just a reminder, I am SkyCat.live. Come and check my website, SkyCat.live. Click on the cat space to donate, or you can sub to me on Twitch. Thank you so much for your time and spending your time with me today. Had a wonderful day. Catch me tomorrow in the afternoon where I will sing for at least 4 hours. And you know, and we'll listen to some music. And I believe that is it. I am going to log here and stop this video. All of these videos will be online over the next day on YouTube. And thank you so much for your time, guys. Love you so much. Thank you for spending time with me today. And you all have a good day.